Joy. I am here with a messenger who has a smile. He has me smiling right now. He really does. But before we go to Leo, our messenger with a smile, I want to talk about the most fabulous month I've been a part of with Barbara Morrison at Leimert Park. She did the very first Jazz Appreciation Month, Broadway at Leimert, and it's called In Leimert Park. She had full 30 days straight of tributes to jazz greats such as Nolan Shahid, who portrayed Dizzy Gillespie. We had Phyllis Causey, who did Etta Jones. We had another Sarah Vaughan done by Pat Sly. I mean, and then she gave a free festival at the very end, April 30th. And that was with everybody, big band. We had Dwight Tribble. We had doing Oscar. It was just, I can't even say it. Here, go to barbaramorrison.com and see. You better mark your calendars because I know this was so fabulous that they are going to do it every year. This was just the first. And then it ended at the Musicians Union, I think on Vine and Melrose, where we tuned into the White House, the Jazz Month tribute, and the students got to perform, there at the Union. This is something that she is raised. She's a messenger and a mentor with a smile because she's raising funds to have a blues and jazz museum right there in Leimert Park. So our children will not lose that richness of the true music from back in the day. I suggest, even though the month is over, jazz and our old music is not gone away, and it will not go away. So now we're going to go with a messenger right here in the studio that I was blessed with. And people know when they refer people to me, they have to have a smile. No matter where it comes from, it has to support, motivate, invest, love, and educate our youth. And that is a smile. And I want to just tell you this. You want more? Here's the secret. Just because I'm the smile lady doesn't mean everything is funny. And you're going to find that out, and especially if you meet my sister, Bonquisha. Everything ain't funny. And sometimes we need to address these issues straight on. So without any further ado, they're going to put it up on the lower thirds. We're going to walk through the smile for my smile students out there, the parents. We're going to start with support, motivate, invest, love, and educate. And we're going to break it down to you and go with our interview with our messenger with a smile. I'm going to keep you in suspense. So here you go. With sign language, your hands are your letters. And here is an S. And that's support. Right. Now, I want to just tell you that here at Pasadena Media, we work with volunteers and we're training all the time, and we have patients. I love them in the booth, and I want to thank everybody. Watch for the rolling credits. They're fabulous. They just have to teach me how to go namaste. But let me just tell you, now that they have support up, this is support, that S. It takes a whole village to raise just one child. Now, motivate, it's the sign for enthusiasm. Motivate. Now, motivate. Don't hate. What is in you that you would do even if you didn't get paid? That's your inner, intrinsic motivation. So that is what keeps you alive. That is your purpose, that motivation. And in God, this is enthusiasm, the sign for enthusiasm. Now, invest. Support, motivate, invest. Here's the I. All right? Now, you could take this, 2 X's, and serve. You serve. Or you could serve like this. Now, you can invest money. Yes, I do need money to do what I do. I have not taken money. I'm a nonprofit. No money. But you can give your talents back. I'm talking about serving people. The only way your legacy lives on is if you give back. That is the only way. Now, love. This is an L. This is the slang for I love you, but love is hugging yourself. Now, did you know you need at least a 26-second hug per day? Even if you hug yourself. That releases endorphins. It's better if you get it from somebody else, but you need touch. That's what's wrong sometimes with this social media. Lack of touch, lack of connection. You need that touch, even if you hug yourself. Okay? It's best to find somebody else, even if it's a puppy. go ahead and hug yourself. Okay, so love. It's the smallest word, but the most powerful in smile. If it didn't have the L, it'd be SME. And I'm not talking about I love that hamburger, I love your weave, I love them shoes. I am talking about agape, which is God's kind of love. Unconditional love. You love Bin Laden, you love Bush, you love Trump, you love everybody. That's a commandment. You may not like them, but you got to love them. That's agape. It's easy to love people that love you back, but you got to love the people that hate you. All right? So that's the love. Now, E for educate. E. You put it up here, educate. Now, if you want to say educator, you can put the person marker. So this is educate, this is educator. This is teach, this is teacher. Teacher. Okay? So support, motivate, invest, love, and educate. That equals smile and spread just a little bit of joy, and I am your smile lady. All right? So with that said, I want you to practice that. Look it up. There is a website. Go ahead and do ASL, AmericanSignLanguage.com. I do have a American Sign Language little thesaurus that I take along. I want to eventually be an interpreter, but you can go ahead online and they have live people teaching you free sign language. So share your smile, whatever it is. All right, now without any further ado, I want to introduce Leo Dixon, a messenger with a smile, and he's going to tell you more about how he got to where he is after he tells me what he loves to do. Welcome.
Thank you for being here.
Yes. Oh, I'm glad you're here also. That is
Thank
really
you.
good. Okay, Leo, I just really loved your smile when I met you here in Pasadena the other day, and people know the Smile Lady. You wouldn't be on here if you didn't attract and you didn't have a smile. But before we go on into what you're doing now, I want you to look in your camera and tell them what you love doing so much you would do it even if you didn't get paid. And you've been doing it about since you were 6. Now you can have a couple of passions.
Right. Well, growing up in Pasadena, we started in the 60s. Sports was prevalent: football, basketball, baseball, running track. So that's the most important thing, being a kid and a child, just mingling with everybody else in the neighborhood and just having fun.
So how tall are you? Were you good at basketball?
Yeah, 6'3".
6'3"? Okay,
6'3",
good.
6'3".
So basketball was your main sport?
Baseball was my main sport.
Oh,
Baseball
good.
was my main sport. At the age of 8, 9, and 10, I played baseball to about the age of 12. Then I switched to football, and then I stopped playing football and played basketball. Played everything.
Okay. So right now, are you mentoring youth in that gift?
Well, actually, I'm in ministry now, and when I do have a chance to talk to kids who are playing basketball or any kind of sports, then yes.
See, you're taking what's your purpose and what you love to do and using it to give back. I like to tell people you're probably doing what you were purposed to do when you were 6, but just didn't realize it.
Right.
And a lot of times we get caught up in the J-O-B, just over broke, and we don't focus on our passion.
Right.
But even if you're working that little J-O-B, just over broke, you should keep your passion.
Correct.
Yeah, so right now, what are you doing? You may have switched reels. What are you doing right now?
Right now, I'm in full-time ministry with Lifeline Fellowship Christian Center. That's located on Lake up in Altadena. And I've been involved in field ministry, prison ministry, dealing with young youth. At one time, I was teaching a class in the Western, let me get this correct, right on Figueroa, in that area. And just empowering young youth to understand that education is not only a key out of any situation, not just so much as the inner city, but in any city. But it opens so many different doors to thought, training, philosophical view, and it takes the handcuffs off you, so to speak, from just being trapped in one area or one arena.
Okay, yeah. And I know David Sanchez is one of your partners, and I think that's Strike Out Against Drugs or something.
Yes.
So he's going to be on the show. Tell me a little bit about what I'm about to get into with David.
Well, with David and I, Strike Out Against Drugs is going into all the schools in Southern California, maybe out of state eventually, having real testimony, real live people about drug use, about crime, punishment, and how drugs simply interrupt your life and start closing the doors to your future. And I believe that if a person, or particularly young youth, if they get a chance to see somebody who has once used drugs, such as myself, and see or hear the testimony of me being involved in drugs took me out of basketball, took me out of baseball, took me out of football, and sent me to prison.
Okay, now you said something before we came on air, and I want everybody to hear this. If you can't see it, you can't be it.
Oh yeah, I was, you know, the NAACP, they have a powerful saying, each one teach one, you know, try to reach one. But in prison, we recognize that how we arrived in prison was through a few vehicles, and one of the ways that we arrived there, we said that we have to see one to be one. I have to see a Deborah, I have to see a Smile, I have to see a doctor in the community, I have to see somebody
A black president.
a black president, you know, and knowing that
Harriet Tubman on the stamp.
Yeah, knowing that I can attain that, but if I can't see one, how can I be one?
Or money.
Or money, you know, so I need to see one so I can be one. If I can get a chance to hang out with you, or you can pour into me some of your struggles as you came up, you know, some of the things that could have offset you but didn't. And who was in your ear? Who was telling you that you can do it? Who was telling you that you can make it? Because I believe that who's ever in your ear, who's ever pouring into your ear canal, that's one of the things that you're going to receive and probably do, you know. So what I mean by that, if a person come to you and they start saying, hey, let's get high, let's do drugs, let's go do crime, let's, you know, join gangs. If that's your everyday diet, then more than likely that's what you're going to become.
You know what, people? I want to just tell you something. I truly believe, even as a single parent raising 4 myself, I was smart enough to know with the 3 girls and the son that I could raise my boy, but I couldn't teach him how to be a man. I don't care how strong I am. You need a man, like he said. Do you want this to use this? Okay. I don't care how strong I am as a woman, which I had to be. I had to turn into the mother. I had to turn into the father, and blah blah blah. You come on this show, and I will debate you if you think you by yourself, without mentors or anything like that, male mentors, to teach that boy how to be a man. I doubt it. I doubt it. I truly believe what he said. You got to see it to be it. In my family, it was 3 generations of no men. They were either killed in slavery or ran off or whatever. My mother was 29, raising 5 of us by herself. My 3 brothers went into gangs. I really went haywire, but it's not how you start. Minister Leo teaches you, it's how you finish this race. You can talk about it all you want. I tried every drug but heroin. Like him, been in jail. You is how you finish the race and what you do with those life lessons. That's what I want to tell you. I love you for that.
Thank you.
You know, and yes, there's a saying that Roscoe Leowens, I have been saying it back way long, 2001, but he put another twist to it, tag, like we tag you in this email and all this Facebook. Touch another generation. Touch another generation. Now, before we go into the other part of the Smile with Leo, we're going to have my cousin sing. They're going to roll that in. Her name will be as a lower third. We'll be right back after you listen to the talent in my family, Aletha J. So we're going to roll, and we'll be right back after that. Thank you.
Blue pasa. Da da Oh, the flowers in the sea is growing. The moon is shining bright all over me. How could I explain all the unexplained to you? And mystery can come my way. Oh, skittle dippy.
Welcome back. Now, did you not enjoy my cousin, I call her, Aletha J? Now, that's something she's been doing ever since she was a little girl. That's somebody who's still working her passion while doing other things, you know, raising her family, directing in that booth for me right now. It is something that you must do. That's what helps you thrive. You can survive, you can live, but to thrive, you have to work your passion. And you have to eat right also. Guess what? Guess what Leo told me? He loves bananas. Guess what? That's one of the most inexpensive pieces of fruit, only 100 calories per medium-sized banana. And let me just read you some points, because you gotta eat right. Try to eat organic, certain things. But things with really thick skins like avocados, bananas, watermelons, stuff like that, where the insects and the pesticides can't really get to. Doesn't have to be organic, but your rice, eggs, stuff like that, there's certain things, beans, should be organic because they're kind of immersed into the insecticides. But let me read this. The benefits of bananas, I bet you didn't know this. Protects your heart, controls blood pressure, strengthens your bones. We were both athletes. We both really had to. Turmeric is good too. You can get that mustard with turmeric in it. And if you get a cramp, say, bring me some mustard, bring me some turmeric. Turmeric does as well as bananas. It blocks diarrhea. That's why when little babies, it's good to give them, that's one of the first fruits that they eat, a very overripe banana. And it quiets a cough. So if you have a cough, you have that banana, it will help it. And let me tell you a secret. You can go to YouTube and find this out, because I know you don't go to grandma no more. You go to YouTube or Google, whatever. Guess what? You open the banana from that other end, that flat button end. People open it from the top. Watch a monkey. That's the way you open a banana. You open the banana from, you think with the bottom side, that's really the top side. Enjoy one of the best fruits and snacks, a banana. Go ahead, Leo. Go ahead. You know what? Athletes know that.
Right.
And I think you see a lot of athletes eating bananas and, you know, mustard. I don't think they realize the power of turmeric, but it does that. So now we're coming into Father's Day. We're coming into, which should be every day for an active father. And I want you right now, before we go into the smile, because I don't want to get away from your words of wisdom, I want you to look in the camera and talk to the youth or anybody what you wish you would have had when you were a young person, to somebody. Go back to your younger self where you wish you had a mentor. Give them that message.
Well, when I was coming up, a very energetic, athletic, loved education, loved the group of kids that I hung out with, but I hung out with two different fractions. I hung out with the kids that were going to school, and I hung out with the kids that wasn't going to school. The deal breaker for me was that it wasn't a man in the house. Had it been a man in the house, see, mama can tell you at the age of, 8 or 9 not to go outside, but when that boy gets big and he gets 12, 13, and 14, as old folks say, starts smelling his own self, then, he's 6'2", 6'3". Mama might be 5'4", and the whoopings don't even hurt no more. But if there's a man in the house, the man might be 5'4", but if he said, boy, don't go outside, then you're not going outside. That's the difference. So that was kind of like the deal breaker for me. And so the man being actually in the house, and not like a scarecrow. See, a scarecrow is just in the field. It's a picture of a man, but it's all straw. But the man being in the house, the man just simply being in the house,
Tell
right?
it.
And just because the identification that this is a man, and he's going to stand up, even now, if a man is 5'4" and his kid be 6'5", he's going to say, boy, I'm still your daddy, and I'll bring you down to size. That's what the man does. And so that was a deal breaker for me, because now, instead of me having that in the house, I look for the man in the street, and I look for the man in drugs, and I look for the man in the alleys, and I didn't find the man. So I didn't develop and grow and mature to become the man that I could have been. In the 60s and the 70s coming up, people fighting in the streets, people running around. It was a few pockets of gangs, but more importantly, it was trying to find your own personal identity. There wasn't nobody in my ear. I call this the ear canal. That's the gateway to your soul and your spirit. You got the eye canal, right? What you see. You know what I'm saying? I got to see one to be one, right? And then you got the, the mouth gate. What are you speaking over yourself, or what is somebody speaking over you, right? So all those different factors, right? Now, you got to understand one thing too with the kids, and what they call them the millennials of today. But with the kids of the crack baby was born in 1980, born with the shakes, born with no dad, and so all of these things this is why we see the society the way it is today. Because if I'm born with the shakes, I don't have no feelings.
Okay, see?
I don't have no dad.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that's why a lot of these killings go along. They're so into the social media, the computer. They have no empathy now.
Yeah,
There's no touch or communication and stuff like that.
Because I was born with the shakes.
So they don't feel it. See, that's it.
You know what I'm saying? So now the crack baby right now is about born in 1980.
Yeah, they should have a wide shot right now.
That's a non-contact
that's what I'm
society,
talking about.
right? Because I got earplugs in my ear, and I'm always listening at my phone, and I don't have that personal touch.
Exactly.
That personal
I can sit
contact.
next to you and be texting.
And we'll never have a conversation. We came up at least having conversations.
Yes.
And personal relations.
Yes.
So the people now, Michael, I used to go to the boys club with Michael Cooper, and with Daddy Pittman, Michael Dennis, Tim Tucker, Charles Dorsey. These are some of the people that went on to become educated, right? But the pull and the gravity of the streets.
But you said something else. You said you started hanging around with people older that you shouldn't have been hanging around with.
Right, so I'm hanging around with, at the age of 12
Somebody
and 13.
should have pulled you back.
I'm hanging around with guys 18, 19, and 20, and they're instructing me. They're speaking into my ear canal saying, this is what we're doing. We're doing burglaries, we're using drugs, we're snorting cocaine, we're drinking, liquor, and this is what we're doing.
And then you got hooked up.
And going to try some of this, and I didn't have the big brother or the mentor figure. So even though they were sending letters to my house saying that, that your child is an MGM student, a mentally gifted mind, by my mother not having a man in the house and her being formerly abused, she would say, that's okay, go ahead and go to public school. And so I just took everything to the streets. Had I had an uncle or a brother, somebody saying, boy, you got talent, boy, you're going the wrong way.
Exactly.
I just didn't have that.
See, I see it now. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And you're doing that. And so your support system now, really quick, is?
Well, it's the church, Lifeline Fellowship Christian Center. I got a brother named Tim Tucker. The church is Dr. Charles Dorsey and Dr. Lisa Dorsey. And Tim Tucker, he's doing a youth home. He's got a youth home, and just many other people that are helping me along the way.
Okay, and the motivation is the fact that you, number one, love life and youth, but any other motivation there?
Well, the motivation is that at my young age, I could have became anything, and I lost and I failed. So my motivation now is to make sure that the youth today, they don't lose. They have somebody in their life. They don't fail early on in life and have to double down and double back and try to get back and later on in life. You know what I'm saying?
Now, investing back, I know what you're doing, but I want you to say it one more time for them so they can see it. You're giving back by?
I'm giving back by way of self. I'm giving back by way of prayer. I'm giving back by being in the inner city, being in the community, hands-on, where you can see me, feel me.
Hands-on?
Hands-on. You can see
not
me,
behind this.
see me. You
Not
can see me, feel me, touch me.
Hello.
You can hear my struggles. You can hear how I won, loved, struggled, and lost. You can hear all the things. Went to prison, had to get out and try to regroup and everything else. You know, did drugs for too long, you know what I'm saying? And just trying to, and see, I start to have to deal with the hurt, the guilt, the shame.
Yes,
and it's all those
and face
things
it.
And face it, you know, and all the stuff that is tucked deep in your gut that you never get a chance to
Because we're running out of time, and I want to get to the last one, love and educate. What was your education as far as what you're doing now? Was it in the ministry or streets was your main education?
Streets was my main education because I took it to the street. I didn't, you know, and the house was one thing, and like I said, Dad was gone, so streets was my main education. But then I started educating myself. I started to read. I started to want to know more.
Good.
I started, you know, I knew that there was more to life.
So how do
than
they
what I knew.
reach you? How do they reach you besides the strikeout against drugs with David Sanchez? But how do they reach you? What, Lifeline.org?
Lifeline.org, Lifeline Fellowship.
Good.
We at 2556 North Lake in Altadena, Cal.
We're going to do a part 2. Hey, you know what? Put that on me, and guess what I'm getting ready to tell you right now? Watch your thoughts. Where is the camera? Watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become character. And watch your character, it becomes your destiny. And holding on to hate and anger is like taking poison, hoping the other person dies. I'm glad you were here. Messenger with a smile. Leo Dixon. Yes, you said it's Leonard?
Yes.
But Leo.
Leo, everybody call me Leo.
Leo Dixon.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I hope they see you at Lifeline, because that's what you just threw out.
Yeah, there's life at Lifeline.
I'm telling you. Thank you so much for smiling, support, motivate, invest, love, and educate a youth. I don't know which camera I'm on, but we on.